Hello my viewers and welcome back to my channel. In this video, we embark on a journey of discovery as a passionate brother unpacks the complex history behind the racial slur that is used to refer to a black person and sheds light on the untold stories of black liberation. Prepare to have your perspectives challenged and your understanding deepened as we take a deeper look into the rich tapestry of African heritage and resistance. Now join me as our brother tackles the controversial topic of the racial slur head on, offering a profound interpretation rooted in centuries of African tradition. Drawing from cultural symbolism and linguistic evolution, he unveils a hidden truth that the slur, far from being a derogatory term, holds deep spiritual significance as a symbol of divine royalty. But the revelations don't stop there. Prepare to be captivated as our speaker unravels the little-known history of black liberation in America. From the strategic escapes of black slaves to the formation of the Seminole Gold military in Florida, he illuminates the resilience and resourcefulness of black communities in the face of oppression. Now, as we listen more to what he is saying, we come to understand that the bonds between black Africans and black Indians were not just alliances of convenience, but partnerships forged in solidarity and mutual survival. Together, they navigated the treacherous landscapes of slavery-era America, drawing upon their collective knowledge and resilience to defy the shackles of bondage. With that said, check out this video. I will be right back.
Some niggas spiritually gonna activate and they gonna say this nigga right. And then some niggas is gonna egotistically activate and they gonna feel like who this nigga think he is.
Can I be honest with you?
Go ahead.
I'm surprised you use the word nigga so much.
Well, nigga mean God, and I don't believe
nigga means God.
Yeah,
does
nigga
it?
Does mean God. Yeah, nigga mean
I'm
God.
gonna need you to have that PowerPoint right here next to you where you be like, see where nigga means God.
Well, if you see the cobra that our ancestors put on their pineal gland, it was considered to be the Naga serpent, and we had an extension of the Kushite Empire into Japan that was called the Naga Kushites, and this is like where samurais and ninjas come from, and this is why you see samurai helmets got the swastika, because the swastika come from Ethiopia. Ethiopia royalty was called Negus, Negus, and so
Neg. Oh, I've been seeing for Hamo Pico.
Right, and so when the Germans,
he's been using that.
Right, so when the Germans came to Africa, they couldn't say Naga or Negus, so it turned into nigger, and then nigger turned into nigga, and so you got people that tell us we can't use our own word because they demonized it. But my main,
do y'all hear this right now? Wow.
Yeah, they demonized it. So yeah, I mean, I just want Western people to know you can't tell me that I can't call myself something that my ancestors have used to denote royalty for years. Naga, Negus has been a term of royalty. People was walking around in them pyramids saying Naga, my Negus. And so that, I'm not going to stop using that word to make nobody feel comfortable, because that's
Pharaoh.
Yeah.
I love you.
Love you too. And I'm an answer, but I know we gotta Juneteenth is about a white man coming to the South saying that, I'm sorry you niggas didn't get the message, but niggas is free. And now we outside right now celebrating the Juneteenth. No, that's not how we got free. We got free. I'm gonna tell y'all how we got free. Black slaves used to run to the South, and they tell us that we used to run to the North. That's not true. We used to run to Florida, and we set up a military in Florida called the Seminole Gullah Military. And the Seminoles, Indians, as you know, are not a race of people. Seminole means fugitive runaway slaves. So when the Africans that was brought over here clicked up with the Africans that was already over here, they created a military called the Seminole Indians. So the Indian just means black. Like Indian comes from the word indigo, which means you so black you look blue. So even when you say an Indian, you're saying a black person. So the black Indians and the black Africans clicked up because the black Indians knew the ways of the land and the black Africans knew the locations of the slave plantations they used to run from. So they clicked up, and then what they did was they left signs in the woods and in the wilderness for escaped slaves to find them. And then when the escaped slaves would find the Seminoles, they would tell the Seminoles where they ran from, and then the Seminoles would come and slaughter every motherfucking body and free the slaves. So if you watch that episode of Boondocks with Catcher Freeman, that's really real. That wasn't a cartoon. That's really what's happening. So what happened was the Seminole Indians was going to war with the United States government, and it's on documents, on record. We actually beat the Navy, and we beat the United States military in warfare. 400 black men beat 1,200 white men, and we was outgunned and everything, and we beat them, and we only 20 of us died. We killed all the motherfuckers. So I just want to let y'all know, we fought our way out of slavery, and I'm gonna cap it here and let you throw the question. So boom, slaves would escape from plantations and run to the south, and then we would keep growing our army like that as we double back on where they left from. And then we fought our way all the way to Louisiana, central, the Midwest, all the way up into Canada. And what happened was, white people that weren't slave masters, they was like, yo, these niggas is coming through here slaughtering the whole town. So y'all gotta end this slavery shit, because they killing motherfuckers.
Like, it's getting real.
Yeah, they not asking no questions. They just coming through murking everything. And,
I love it.
Yeah, and they like, yo, end this shit. So white people put pressure on Abraham Lincoln, and then Abraham Lincoln signed that approximate. But the reason I'm telling the story like that is because I don't want y'all to think a nigga who owned slaves just woke up one day and was like, oh, y'all can be, that's not what happened. So to give you the proper analogy as I pass it back to this goddess, imagine right now if niggas said, yo, the next police murder, we murking everything. And niggas just started running through this whole country, banging shit. White people would get on the phone and they would say, yo, y'all gotta do something. So I'm not saying we should do that.
I know, we're not promoting that.
Yeah, that's how we got free. So ain't no white man never set us free. Because if that's the truth, why we ain't free today? We're not free. So we got free because a nigga like me said, fuck that. And we finna run through these bitches. And every time a slave escaped, we would ask them, nigga, where you come from? And niggas would get about 100 deep and go kill everything on that motherfucker and free the slaves. Those that wanted to join our army could. Those that didn't, nigga, go do you. And they got deep as a motherfucker. And so this is why, the story of the Indian Wars, those are actually the Gullah Wars. So that's what they're not telling you.
The Gullah Wars.
The Indian Wars, aka the Indians versus the Cowboys and Frederick Jackson. Because people don't know, Frederick Jackson was appointed as the military general by Abraham Lincoln specifically to dismantle the Gullah warriors. And
like to infiltrate?
No, to destroy us, because we was murking shit. So Abraham Lincoln was like, yo, I'm gonna appoint you as my top general to go to war with these niggas. And so all of them wars that you read in history class and they tell you they was Indian wars, no, those was black people saying fuck slavery wars and we gonna murk anything. So I just want y'all to know the real history. And so this is why now y'all see why when they created the Indian reservations, they allowed white people to sign the Dow's rolls for the $5 and act like they was us. And this is why they call us African Americans, because they don't want us to realize that, yes, some of us came from Africa, but most of us was already here. And if they tell you that we was already here,
wait, can you say that? Wait, I need you to repeat. Some things I want you to repeat, because they need to sink in. Say that again.
Yes, most of us came from Africa. I mean, some of us came from Africa, but most of us was already here. And they don't want to tell us that, because if they do, not only do they got to answer the questions of who the fuck is them people on the Indian reservations getting these checks that we supposed to be getting, they got us living in the ghetto and living in projects, and you got Indians on the Indian reservation, 4 people in a house, each of them getting $100,000 check a month, and that's our check. So you've been giving these motherfuckers our money all this time, you've been giving these motherfuckers our casino money all this time, and you got us living in the ghettos, and really that's our bread. So not only do they got to answer for that, now they got to explain to us who the fuck gave them permission to set a country up on our land. So that's why they really call us an African American. And that's why I'm not with all that, I'm black. And the reason I say I'm black is because our ancestors always acknowledged us as black. Kush means land of the black. Naga, black divinity. Indian, indigo, black. Anywhere we go, they call us black. So I'm that black person that you seen here, and I'm that black person that you seen there, and I'm that black person that you seen everywhere. And so this is why black people need to identify universally as we used to. And in my opinion, we need to create a one world, all black government, kill all borders. We need one big ass military in Africa that extends over here. and we need embassies everywhere like everybody else got. And black people around the world need to politically click up and just be black. Fuck all that. Fuck Jamaican. Fuck Niger. Nigga, we're black. We can make a name. I wouldn't give a fuck if we called ourselves the cocoa butter.
Now, firstly, the speaker's assertion that the racial slur holds spiritual significance as a symbol of divine royalty finds support in the cultural traditions of many African societies. Throughout history, various African cultures have used linguistic symbols to denote spiritual or ancestral connections, with words like Naga or the racial slur often representing concepts of divinity or ancestral reverence. Moreover, his explanation of the linguistic evolution of the word from Naga to the racial slur aligns with historical accounts of language adaptation and transformation during periods of cultural exchange. The influence of European colonialism on African languages resulted in phonetics shifts and linguistic adaptations, leading to the emergence of new words and meanings. Now, the speaker's recounting of black liberation efforts in America challenges prevailing narratives of passive resistance and submission. Historical records attest to the strategic escapes and resistance efforts of enslaved black individuals, now many of whom sought refuge in remote regions such as Florida, where they formed communities and alliances to resist enslavement. His exploration of the relationship between black Africans and black Indians sheds light on the complexities of identity and solidarity in pre-colonial America. The term Indian, derived from indigo, was often used interchangeably with black to describe indigenous peoples, reflecting the shared experiences of marginalization and oppression faced by both groups. Overall, the speaker's assertions may seem unconventional to some. A deeper examination of historical and cultural evidence reveals the profound truths embedded within his narrative. By challenging conventional narratives and reclaiming the stories of our ancestors, we gain a more nuanced understanding of the complexities of black identity and resilience in the face of oppression. Now, getting deeper into the linguistic evolution of the racial slur, one can trace its origins to various African languages and dialects. Scholars have identified similarities between the word and words in languages such as Wolof, Mandika, and Twi, where similar sounding terms carry meanings related to kinship, divinity, or royalty. Now, this linguistic evidence supports the idea that the word may have deeper cultural and spiritual connotations beyond its derogatory usage in Western context. Beyond individual acts of escape, resistance, and rebellion, were organized efforts by enslaved black communities to challenge the institution of slavery, the formation of maroon communities, self-sustaining settlements of escaped slaves in regions like Florida, the Great Dismal Swamp, and the Appalachian Mountains, serves as a testament to the determination and resourcefulness of black individuals in their quest for freedom. The interactions between black Africans and indigenous peoples in colonial America were marked by cultural exchange and adaptation. Enslaved Africans brought with them rich cultural traditions, knowledge of agriculture, and survival skills that contributed to the development of hybridized cultures in regions where they interacted with indigenous communities. Now, these cultural intersections laid the groundwork for alliances and solidarity among marginalized groups facing common oppressors. The prevailing narrative of black liberation in America often centers on the actions of palm-color abolitionists or legislative reforms, overshadowing the agency and resistance efforts of black individuals themselves by reclaiming and amplifying lesser-known stories of black resilience and resistance. We challenge historical revisionism and empower future generations to recognize the contributions of black activists and communities in the fight for freedom and equality. Now, while significant strides have been made in the fight against racial oppression, systemic inequalities and injustices persist in contemporary society. The legacy of slavery and colonialism continues to shape racial dynamics, socioeconomic disparities, and cultural perceptions, underscoring the ongoing relevance of discussions surrounding race, identity, and liberation. Now, talking about black people running to the South and not the North, we are seeing mass protest movement against racial segregation and discrimination in the southern United States that came to national prominence during the mid-1950s. Now, this movement had its roots in the centuries-long efforts of enslaved Africans and their descendants to resist racial oppression and abolish the institution of slavery. Although enslaved people were emancipated as a result of the American Civil War and were then granted basic civil rights through the passage of the 14th and 15th Amendments to the U.S. Constitution, struggles to secure federal protection of these rights continued during the next century. Now, through nonviolent protests, the civil rights movement of the 1950s and 60s broke the pattern of public facilities being segregated by race in the South and achieved the most important breakthrough in equal rights legislation for Black Americans since the Reconstruction period, 1865 to 77. Now, although the passage in 1964 and 1965 of major civil rights legislation was victorious for the movement, by then militant Black activists had begun to see their struggle as a freedom of liberation movement, not just seeking rights reforms, but instead confronting the enduring economic, political, and cultural consequences of past racial oppression. We have finally come to the end of the video. What do you have to say? Share your thoughts as well in the comment section. Thank you for watching and see you in my next video.